All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's meeting of the Nevada State Board of Dental Examiners on this date, Friday, May the 12th, 2017. Could you please call roll?
Yes, Dr. Pinther is excused. Dr. Blasco?
Present.
Dr. Champagne?
Here.
Dr. Pisani?
Here.
Dr. Johnson?
Here.
Dr. Shahrastani is on his way. Dr. Sanders?
Here.
Ms. Guillen?
Here.
Ms. Gabriel?
Here.
Ms. Chandler?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, since we're at the beginning of the meeting, some faces have changed, and at this point in time, we'd like to welcome a new board member, Terry Chandler, who's a hygienist licensed in this state, and she takes the hygiene position, and Mr. John Kelleher, who is now in-house counsel for the Nevada State Board of Dental Examiners. So we'd like to welcome you both, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 2 on the agenda, under public comment. As you stand, would you please identify yourselves?
Okay. My name is Gloria Lamb, and I am a Medicare recipient and a member of the public amongst 1,000 for others in Nevada. The protection of the rights of the public is a mandate of this board. To each and every board member I ask, have you any knowledge of what instruction your board has given to your lobbyist, William Horn? Horn seems to be opposing change to the NRS 631 that will leave the board out of the compliance with what the board agreed to make with the legislative committee. Personally, I do not believe the dental board members know what directives its lobbyist Horn has been given. This is because the board has outsources its responsibility to non-board members such as Deborah Shepard, John Hans, and Dee Source for the past 26 years. Have any of you board members held even one discussion or worship or vote on what the mandate for your lobbyist? When we, as a member of the public, file a complaint with the board, we expected the complaint to be handled by dental board members, not non-dental board members, the same as they are with the boards in the state of Nevada. In other words, the dental board needs a proper compliance committee composed of board members only. If board members do not want to put in the work required to handle our complaints directly, but instead want to be outsources its responsibility to non-board members, then please resign from the board and request the governor to appoint someone in your place who will do so. This is because the rights of the public must subside rights individual board members who have a self-serving interest. I would like this submitted for the public record and post with minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comment?
No.
Is there any comment in the north? Oh, okay.
My name is Alan Lamb. I'm a Medicare recipient and a member of the public amongst thousands of others in Nevada. The protection of the rights of the public is a mandate of this board. We, the public, would like the board members to vote on directing your lobbyists to comply with the Legislative Council Bureau's recommendation to have board members more directly involved with the complaint process. This simple step would then address problems 1 through 4, 6, 7, and 11 through 14, or 10 out of the 14 problems identified in the LCB audit. Please remember that it was Governor Brian Sandoval who has already told the board a few months ago to fix it, referring to the board's complaint process. Who from the board has been communicating directly with the Horn and is responsible for telling Horn to work against what the LCB's recommendations for improving the board's investigative and the complaints process? Does Horn have something in writing from the board regarding his directives? If so, we request that you please provide us, the public, with a copy of it. When board members are not directly involved with the investigations and the complaint process, then the public rights are also not being promoted or protected. It's that simple. I'm certain there are thousands of Medicare patients just like me who do not trust the way the dental board is currently operating its investigative and the complaints process. If complaints against dentists or dental hygienists are not being dealt with by the actual board members, but instead being dealt with by non-member such as Stratford Hunt DSOs, etc., we will continue complaining to the governor of the state of Nevada that your board has not fixed it and thus has failed in its duty to protect the public. If you need guidance, then please look to how other healthcare boards handle complaints, such as the State Medical Board of Examiners, where complaints must be dealt with by a complaints committee composed only of board members. It is time this board takes its mandate to protect the public more seriously by taking action, not lip service, and ceases to be an operation in its complaint process that has been run by non-board members for the past 26 years.
Thank you, sir. If you'd like to submit the remainder of your remarks for public record, you're welcome to do so.
Okay.
But your time is up. You go next.
Hi, my name is Tina Sue. I'm the secretary for the Las Vegas Dental Association. During the Dental Board's last meeting on April 5th, 2017, we requested that certain issues be put on the agenda for today's meeting as follows. 1. A vote demanding that the board's former attorney, John Hunt, return the amount of monies he overbilled the board in excess of $250,000 during the years of 2014 and 2015, and further investigate Hunt's excessive legal fees in violation of the not-to-exceed maximum in his contract agreement with the board for his past 26-year tenure with the board. And 2, a vote for the board to file a formal complaint against Hunt for his fraudulent overbillings to the board, which Hunt did intentionally knowing that he was doing so in violation of the not-to-exceed maximum clause in his contract agreement. We also asked for the board to include in the minutes for its April 5th meeting the following attachment as part of the public record. A copy of the May 2016 Legislative Performance Audit conducted by the Audit Division of Legislative Council Bureau. Please be advised that both requests were made in compliance with the open meeting law, where it states in NRS 241.035, Section 1, subsections D and E, However, we note that our requests have been ignored by the board. When we inquired further, Deborah Schaefer sent an email wherein she stated, "The board contacted the Office of the Attorney General regarding the request of certain members of the LBDA and whether boards and commissions are required to act on such requests. The board was advised by Brett Kent, Chief Deputy Attorney General, that the board sets its own agenda, not the licensees or the public. Therefore, the board is not required to consider this request." First, who is the board to whom Ms. Schaefer refers? Is Ms. Schaefer the board? If not, which board member communicated with the AG's office? Second, there is usually a cost involved for the board communicating with the AG's office. Who authorized Ms. Schaefer to contact the AG's office when the open meeting law manual is available to the public and provides the same information on page 65? Third, does Ms. Schaefer speak for all 14 members of the board? If not, then it is only reasonable that the board review our requests, not Schaefer. Therefore, we hereby renew our
Thank you, Ms.
request.
Sue. You can submit the remainder of your comment for public record.
Hello, my name is Dr. Adrian Ruiz. I'm a licensed dentist in the state of Nevada and the president of the Las Vegas Dental Association. During the dental board's meeting today, there is an agenda item on which I would like to make a comment. Agenda item 4, section A, subsection 1, refers to district court case update. In a recent district court case, the board's former attorney, John Hunt, is seeking to have his fees and costs paid. However, as everyone knows now, Hunt has been in violation of his not-to-exceed maximum in his contract for legal services with the dental board for quite some time now. On page 14 of the Legislative Council Bureau's May 2016 performance audit, it states the contract approved in October 2013 stated payments will not exceed $175,000 per year. However, payments exceeded $300,000 in both calendar years, 2014 and 2015, the first 2 years under the new contract terms. Additionally, the overall contract maximum of $700,000 has almost been reached with over a year left in the 4-year contract. Contract maximum should reflect total payments expected to be made under the contract. Thus, Hunt was not only exceeding the annual not-to-exceed maximum in his contract with the board, he had also exceeded his 4-year overall contract as well last summer. Further, as I'm sure the board knows, Hunt's amended contract for 2016 was never approved by the Board of Examiners. This may have been something to do with the fact that Hunt, along with Deborah Schaefer, appeared before the Board of Examiners and unilaterally requested an additional $275,000 beyond what the board had approved. On April 5th, Hunt withdrew his application for general counsel, the board terminated Hunt's contract, and John Kelleher became the board's general counsel. Moreover, the board appears to have authorized Hunt to continue investigating cases with full knowledge that Hunt has already been in breach of his not-to-exceed maximums. Thus, the board should be on notice that 1, the board, not licensees or defendants, will be held responsible for paying Hunt's legal fees and costs, or 2, the public must assume that Hunt has been willingly working pro bono for the board and that all of Hunt's fees and costs charged for any of the parties in violation of Hunt's contract with the board are null and void. Therefore, at a minimum, the board needs to immediately move to have Hunt removed from all further investigation in cases by filing a substitution of counsel replacing Hunt with Kelleher. Thank you.
Any further public comment? Anything up the north? Hearing no further public comment, we move to agenda item 3, Executive Director's Report. A, minutes for possible action. Ms. Schaefer?
In your board books, you should have received the minutes for the board meeting of March 24th, 2017, and also the board meeting that was a telephone conference call held on April 5th, 2017. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to review these, if there's any errors or discrepancies that need to be corrected, if you would let me know now. Otherwise, I request that you approve these minutes.
Do any board members have any comment on the 2 sets of board meeting transcriptions provided? Hearing none, could we entertain a motion to accept both board meetings minutes for approval?
So moved. Sanders?
Second Johnson.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of accepting the board minutes as presented to the board members, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Come on.
Agenda item 3B, financials.
In your board books, you should find the review, the balance sheet, statements of revenue, expenses, and balances for the period of July 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2017. If you have any questions about it, I would direct you to Stacy Hummel, who's here.
You're on.
Any questions? Good morning. I just want to review just a couple things on the statement of revenues, expenses, and fund balances. And I know that we do have new board members, so if there are any questions after going over a couple things here, then I'm happy to answer them. We did change a little bit of the formatting of the statements. We did do that last board meeting, but I did want to point out that the reimbursed investigation costs are up under your income accounts instead of down under your investigations and complaints. And you'll see that the budget versus actual on that, there's quite a big difference, but it's because we have no way of predicting really a budget for that. But the offsetting numbers are down under on page 3, and you can see that we're almost, the differences are about the same between the income and the expenses that are being reported. So there isn't anything really unusual there. We have some other items where we just haven't spent the money, but those will be coming through, some of that will be coming through here in April, May, and June. Furniture and equipment, we have spent some of that money, so we'll see that coming through our reports at our next board meeting. Some of the computer repair upgrade, we will be utilizing more of those budget dollars here as well as we get towards the end of this fiscal year. We also have the part-time administrative assistant position has not been filled, so we do have some budget dollars that are still available there. And the other larger number that's different in our budget to actual is the anesthesia evaluating committee, and that again is something where we can't really predict the number of evaluations that are going to be taking place in a year. So the bottom line is that we're really not very far out on our budget. We're a little bit over as far as the income goes, but nothing that's really significant. We will see some of these numbers come a little bit more into line. It's just a little bit of a timing difference on some of it. Any questions?
Anything from the north? Hearing no comment, thank you very much, Stacy. We appreciate all your efforts. Agenda item number 3C, authorized investigative complaints. Dr. Z, NRS 631.3475, subsection 3. Yep.
It actually should be subsection 8, so for correction, it should be NRS 631.3475, subsection 8. I am requesting the board authorize an investigation regarding Dr. X for the possible violation of NRS 631.3475, subsection 8, which is the following acts, amongst others, constitutes unprofessional conduct, and it's conviction of a felony or misdemeanor involving moral turpitude or which relates to the practice of dentistry in this state, or a conviction of any criminal violation of this chapter. So I'm requesting the board approve the authorized investigation.
Do we have a vote to
That's
approve?
Teresa Gann.
Do we have a second?
Second Pisani.
Okay, we have a second. Dr. Shipsoni. All in favor of approving the investigative complaint, to authorize that complaint process? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion passes. Item agenda number 4, General Counsel's report. Is that
Mr. Kelleher?
Good
And
morning.
so we'd like to welcome again Mr. Kelleher to the board, and this is his debut.
Good morning. With respect to first item, legal actions and lawsuits, on May 9th, Attorney John Hunt and I attended the order to show cause hearing in District Court Department 1 on the matter of Marco Casco for the unlicensed practice of dentistry. Previously, a permanent injunction was issued against him, and he violated the injunction. At the hearing, the court found him in contempt, found it was issued a civil contempt order, but declined to issue criminal contempt sanctions for various reasons. But he ordered that Mr. Casco, because of the violation, that he was ordered to pay attorney's fees and costs to the board. So we have a status check hearing for June 6th at 9 a.m. And in the meantime, Mr. Hunt was requested to submit a fees and cost memo, which will be reviewed at that status check hearing. And with respect to stipulation agreements, we have 2 for consideration today. The first one is for Dr. Michelle Martinez-Pham, case number 74127-03174. This case was handled by DSO Bradley Roberts and Attorney John Hunt. I've reviewed the file and I've discussed the case with Mr. Hunt, and I've also reviewed the DSO's recommendations. My review indicates that the stipulation appears appropriate to protect the citizens of Nevada. The DSO's found a violation of NAC 631-2301C in the following respects. The crowns placed by the licensee on teeth number 7, 8, and 9 are unacceptable because the lingual margins of the crowns are short and open, and the bridge placed by respondent on teeth 4, 5, and 6 are unacceptable because the bridge is not an occlusion, hypocclusion. Such hypoocclusion has resulted in the patient experiencing unnecessary pain and suffering because the patient is unable to chew due to the lack of contact between the upper and lower teeth. After an informal hearing and negotiations, and without admitting to the DSO's findings, and with the advice of counsel, the licensees agreed to the following basic terms and stipulation. Licensee's dental practice should be monitored for a period of 9 months from the adoption of the stipulation. During the monitoring period, the licensee shall maintain a daily log containing information concerning all aspects of crown and bridge care and treatment. The licensee agrees that failure to keep the daily log will result in automatic license suspension. The licensee shall obtain 12 hours of supplemental education, 6 hours in crown, 6 hours in bridges. The licensee shall reimburse the board for costs and fees of the investigation, which is due within 12 months of the adoption of the stipulation by the board, plus costs of monitoring at a rate of $50 per hour, with it due within 30 days of request for reimbursement. And the licensee shall reimburse the patient in the amount of $6,043 and waive any outstanding balance due. On behalf of the DSO, we're asking that the board approve the stipulation. Second one we have.
Yes, would you like to?
Yeah, I just want to thank you. I'm Candace Hurling, counsel for Dr. Martinez in this matter. You did great. Just one correction, there was not an informal hearing, so I just want to make sure that doesn't make it on the record in this case. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
The second one is for Dr. Lisa Hoang, Hoang, case number 74127-03188. This matter was handled by DSO Bradley Strong and Attorney John Hunt, and I've also reviewed the file, discussed it with Mr. Hunt, and reviewed the DSO's recommendations, and my review indicates the stipulation appears appropriate to protect the citizens of Nevada. There's 3 patients involved in this case. The DSO's findings were violation of NAC 631. There was a finding of a violation of NAC 631-2301C with respect to patient Carol Milan. The periodontal probings were found to be inaccurate. The radiographs were unacceptable, and the licensee failed to diagnose a large linguinal subgingival caries on tooth number 14. With respect to patient Nicole Milan, the periodontal probings were inaccurate, the radiographs taken were unacceptable, and the restorative treatment plan was found to be unacceptable. With patient Stefan Koprinkov, the radiographs were found to be unacceptable. treatment for teeth number 18 and 19 was unacceptable. The specifics are listed in the agreement, which is in board members' packets. Respondents' endodontic treatment of teeth number 18 and 19 were unacceptable. Respondents' crowns delivered on teeth 18, 19, and the primary tooth K were unacceptable, and the patient was apparently charged for procedures that were not performed. After negotiations with the licensee and without admitting the DSO's findings, and with the advice of counsel, licensees agreed to the following basic terms. The licensee's dental practice shall be monitored for 12 months. The licensee agrees to reimburse, refund the patients. During the monitoring period, the licensee shall maintain a daily log containing information concerning all aspects of dental hygiene, periodontal care and treatment, caries, treatment, root canals, and crowns, care and treatment at licensee's dental practice. Licensee agrees that the failure to keep the daily log will result in automatic license suspension. Licensee shall obtain 38 hours of supplemental education, and the licensee shall reimburse the board costs and fees of the investigation, which are due within 12 months of the adoption of the stipulation, plus cost of monitoring at a rate of $50 per hour. And on behalf of the DSO, we're asking that you approve the stipulation agreement.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kelleher. We're going to take these one at a time, and if someone makes a motion to move to approve the stated stipulations, keep in mind that for stipulation number 1, take into account the recommendation or the clarification by the licensee's counselor. Do we have a motion to approve stipulation number 1 with so said clarification?
This is Pisani. I move that we approve that.
Second, Sanders.
Second, Dean.
We have a motion and a second to approve stipulation on Dr. Martinez FAM, taking into consideration the clarification by her counsel. All in favor?
Mr. President, I have a comment.
Yes.
This is Pisani. Just for the new board members and maybe for new council, I'm a previous DSO, and I want all board and the public to know that we vet the DSOs. These are experienced dental practitioners that we choose to investigate our cases. If they have any inkling that they are in question about what the case is about, they call in other DSOs or specialists in the field that the case is concerned with. These are not people that don't know dentistry. These are people we trust, and I speak from experience. The people that you see on our DSO list, they are the best dentists in Nevada. So we are not, outsourcing to someone that doesn't know how to investigate a case. It would be very difficult for all of us to go investigate all these cases, and our board doesn't survive unless we use our DSOs, but they are all vetted and they are experienced practitioners.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate your comments. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the stipulation as in the agenda item 4B1, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain out of this. I think she works for one of our owners.
All right, Dr. Sharastani abstains. Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item 4B2 for licensee Dr. Lisa Hoing. Is there a motion to approve the stipulation as read into the record by Mr. Kelleher?
This is Ian. I move to approve stipulation agreement on Dr. Lisa Hoing.
Second, Champagne.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor adopting stated stipulation, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Item agenda number 5, old business. Approval for moderate sedation training program under NAC 631.2213 for possible action. Dr. Johnson?
Excuse me. I believe we had a discussion. We wanted, the biggest one was working with a CODA-approved facility. I believe from what we've seen, the actual training program does meet our requirements. However, the list of facilities they gave us were not a CODA-approved facility with the exception of St. Barnabas Hospital. So I would move that it would be approved based on these courses being held at the facility that is CODA-approved, St. Barnabas.
So under Dr. Johnson's recommendation, the approval for moderate sedation training program would be, as stated by Dr. Johnson, only approved in the location as stated in the outline at St. Barnabas Hospital, and no other facilities or locations would be approved for Nevada licensees. Is there a motion on that?
Yes.
Okay, so could we have a motion to approve the sedation training program to only be held at St. Barnabas Hospital for Nevada licensees?
So moved, Pisani.
Second, Sanders.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of approving this, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 6B, approval of public health endorsement NRS 631.287. 1, Diane Knorr, RDH, Keeping the Smiles Program.
These are Dr. Champagne.
Oh, Dr. Champagne?
Yes, I'd like to submit for approval public health endorsement NRS 631.287. Number 1, Diane S. Knorr, RDH, Keeping the Smiles.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the public health endorsement for Diane Knorr, RDH, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
All right, number 2, I'd like to submit for...
Dr. Champagne, would you like to abstain on that?
Oh, abstain, yes.
Thank you. Okay, you're
Can
on.
we clarify the motion and the second on that one so Angie can capture it for the minutes? Who motioned?
I was the first motion.
Yeah.
And who was the second? Who seconded that motion?
I seconded it. Pisani.
Oh, Pisani seconded.
Sonia.
Thank you. Dr. Champagne, you're on.
Number 2, I'd like to submit for approval public health endorsement NRS 631.287. Adotrop M. Sitten, RDH, Keeping the Smiles Program.
So moved. Gabriel?
Second deal.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion regarding Ms. Sutton? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the public...
One moment, there's discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we go. I got the microphone. This is Deb Osborne. I am the administrator of Keeping the Smiles, and I just wanted to welcome Terry Chandler as the new board member, and also to thank the board for their continued support and advocacy for the program. I wanted to let you know that we understand as a group under Keeping the Smiles that there are special kinds of parameters and considerations for a portable program for infection control, and that we are always going to be diligent in looking for those kinds of preventions as we move forward and provide care in those unique environments. So thank you again for providing us the approval for these 2 new people who are quite competent and very excited about being part of the Keeping the Smiles program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other comment? All in favor of approving this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Abstain, Champagne.
Thank you. Agenda item number 6C, approval of voluntary surrender of license under NAC 631.160. Deb?
These 3 dentists have requested that they voluntarily surrender their license under NAC 631160. The voluntary surrender of a license is absolute and irrevocable. These individuals have no pending matters, and I'm requesting that the board approve their voluntary surrender of license.
Is there any need that we can't take them as a group?
That's to your attorney.
No,
I don't think.
No, there were no problem.
Okay. Per Mr. Kelleher's approval, we can take these as a group. All in favor of accepting the voluntary surrender of license of Dr. Mayra Puyan, Dr. Michael McGraw, and Dr. Anas Najm?
Byron, I would like that motion to approve all three for surrender of license.
Second.
You don't?
He does.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
All right.
Make the motion.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Motion by Dr. Pastani and a second by Ms. Guillen. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Here of approval of voluntary surrender of license by the listed licensees, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain, I'm seeing licenses.
All right, we have, motion passes with noting the abstention of Dr. Sheristani. Agenda item number 6D, approval for anesthesia permit, anesthesia permanent permit, under NAC 631.2233, general anesthesia for James Sunwoo, Dr. James Sunwoo. Dr. Johnson?
Ms. Johnson, I reviewed the application, it met and approved, so I would recommend his approval for general anesthesia license.
We have a recommendation. Is there a motion?
So move Sanders.
We have a motion by Dr. Sanders and a second by Dr. Champagne. Is there any we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of agenda item, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Dr. Johnson abstains. Motion passes. Agenda item 6E, approval for anesthesia temporary permit, NAC 631.2254, under subsection 1, general anesthesia for Dr. James Young Kim. Dr. Johnson?
Johnson also reviewed Dr. Kim's application, meets and approves. I would recommend his approval.
I'll make a motion to approve this Basani.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Abstain. Just what we'll say. Reading.
We don't have a second for approval?
Second Sanders.
We have a second, a motion and a second. All right, okay, we're on a roll. Is there any discussion?
Can't read and talk, obviously.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the general anesthesia for Dr. James Young Kim. All in favor? Aye.
Now,
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
abstention.
All righty, there we go. Agenda item number 6E2, conscious sedation.
Taken as a group?
Yes.
Mr. Keller, can we take these as a group? For licensees listed A through F, do we have a motion for approval for conscious sedation? But I'll turn this over to Dr. Johnson.
All were reviewed. Of the 6 approved, recommend approval.
Recommend approval, so move Sanders.
Second, Sheristani.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
No abstention.
And abstention, okay. Agenda item number 6, F, appointment of Mary Teresa Chandler, RDH, to the following resource groups under NRS 631.190. We have a plate load here for Terry. It's item 1, Committee on Dental Hygiene, 2, to be appointed to the resource group for legal and disciplinary action, to be appointed to the resource group for continuing education, and to be appointed to the resource group for infection control. All in favor of putting these on her plate? Oh, is there a motion to approve those appointments?
This is Basani. I'll make the motion to approve.
Right. And is there a second?
Second, Johnson.
Johnson, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? You can't say anything? You can't decline. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? we welcome Terry to those committees, and we appreciate her willingness to participate.
And for the record, I'm honored. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Agenda item number 7, resource group reports. Legislative and dental practice, Dr. Pinther has been excused. Dr. Champagne, do you know if there's any report on that committee?
No report.
All right, thank you. Legal and disciplinary action, Dr. Pisani?
I don't have a report, but I do maybe have a question about that filing against the board. Do we have any information about that?
To my knowledge, Mr. Kelleher can answer.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it hasn't been served, so there's no action to be taken at this time.
Okay, thanks. I have no report.
Yeah, to my knowledge, for us to be served, the Attorney General has to be served, and they have never been served. Examination liaisons for Reb and Herb. I do not have a report regarding Reb. That meeting will be held next month in Phoenix. Ms. Gabriel, do you have anything?
Just a short one. We had a meeting, Herb had a meeting in March. We just went over, there's a generic questionnaire there in the beginning of the board books. That's just what the Rep Committee would like any boards to use when they're reviewing other examiners for their state. And then the minutes are also provided there. The main topic of conversation from my last meeting was about the OSCE exam that the ADA wants to pursue, and that'll be something we'll be discussing, I'm sure, in the next meeting in June. That's all.
Thank you very much. And our ADEX report from Dr. Pinther, who is not present, he did not provide us with any documentation that there was a report to be filed, so we will pass on that at this time. Continuing education, I do not have any report at this time for the Continuing Education Committee. Ms. Guillen, do you have anything on the Committee for Dental Hygiene,
No report.
Thank you. Dr. Pisani, anything regarding specialty?
Only that we're still special.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Johnson, anything on anesthesia?
Nothing, no.
All right, nothing. Okay, and Ms. Gabriel, anything on infection control?
No.
All right, thank you. And Dr. Champagne, budget and finance?
No report.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to entertain any further public comment. There's no one present in the south. Is there anybody that'd like to make a public comment in the north? Hearing none. I'm sorry, was there anything up there? Nope. Okay, announcements. Deb?
I just have a couple. As you know, dentists are renewing, so you have to renew your licenses by June 30th. We'll be sending out a reminder postcard. Also, we're sending out a postcard to let you know that the newsletter is available on the website to be reviewed or downloaded. So that will be going to dentists and dental hygienists, that postcard. As far as legislative, and I believe that may be what the public comment was about, there is a Senate Bill 256, which was drafted because when the legislative auditors made recommendations, one of the recommendations was to consider having a review panel, and the board was not opposed to that recommendation. However, they did say that they believed when you're going to change somebody's due process, that it should be in statute, that we don't start adding things to their due process without their knowledge. So this SB 256, which is being endorsed by Senator Settlemyre, who was the head of the Sunset Committee. 256 originally came out that the board could appoint, the language originally was that the board could appoint any members, agents, employees to be on the panel. And then there was an amendment done, and then they changed it that they wanted it to be 2 board members on the panel. And so they had a panel for hygiene and they had a panel for dental. If we added 2 board member dental hygienists to the panel and then they had to recuse themselves from voting on any matters, we would not have a quorum because we only have 3 dental hygienists on the board. So when that became an issue, Mr. Horn went back to explain to them that the language, the way that it was written, would make it difficult or impossible sometimes for the board to have a quorum. to vote on matters. So working with LCB to come up with language, there was language introduced, and I believe that's what Mr. Horn was speaking about at these legislative committees. So I want for clarification that the board it does not allow for hygienists. The reason the board considered hygienists being able to do Botox was because medical assistants under the supervision of a medical doctor could do it. SB 101 would take the ability away from dental assistants to be able, I'm sorry, medical assistants, I apologize, medical assistants to be able to administer Botox. So it would be clearly just dentists, osteopathic, physicians. So that's what SB 101 is. That's working through the legislative committees as we speak, and I will update you on the Botox and the review panel when I have more information.
Thank you, Deb. Are there any other further announcements? Once again, we'd like to welcome Mr. Kelleher and Ms. Chandler to the board, and we appreciate their willingness to serve at this time. Having no other business here, I'd like to entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Sanders.
Here we have a motion, Dr. Sanders.
Second, Johnson.
And second, Johnson, or Champagne, whoever. And any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.